second webinar of 7 to 8 production and distribution. I'm Adam Snook. I'm the executive producer and the founder of the company way back in 2023. I cannot believe that this is where we are, and I have the wonderful Jenni Booker from the Pittsburgh Film Office with us. Say hi, Jenny, and introduce yourself for the
Hello!
viewers at home, please.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and share a bit more about the Pittsburgh film industry and the region. Um, Thank you, Adam, for the nice little introduction. I am a Pitt alumni. I studied film and media studies. If you might have seen me around doing some freelancing for film in the region, mainly on short films. And I am currently, as Adam said, communications coordinator of the Pittsburgh Film Office.
That is brilliant. Okay, so for those who are wondering what we're talking about, last webinar we talked about how do you find a footing in the film industry here, especially Pittsburgh, or even as a young filmmaker, which is a lot of the people that are supporting 7 to 8. We have a lot of young filmmakers here wanting to turn this into our bread and butter, myself included. But today, we're going to be talking about why Pittsburgh is the prime location to make movies, including our tax credit and tax incentives, and our local resources, including the amazing crew body here and the local IOTC and the overwhelming amount of talent here located in Pittsburgh and local 489, am I correct? That's our local here. So that's the meat and potatoes we're gonna get into, but before you even get into the industry, there are so many hoops you have to jump through. So like how did you first get involved, Jenny, with the local film industry here or even film in general?
It's crazy. Like I mentioned, I'm a Pitt alum. I had no clue what I was going to do after school until the last semester of my senior year. What happened is actually, where it really started was I took sound production with Max Glider at the University of Pittsburgh. Shout out to Max Glider. And loved it. Loved sound, loved everything about it. I was just obsessed. And then that last semester of senior year, I took broadcasting with Kevin Michael Smith at Pitt. And there was a moment after one of the classes that I went up to him with a friend. We were just talking, we were yapping, and he looks at me and he goes, "What are you interested in?" And I went, "Sound." And he went, "I have a job for you." And then next thing I knew, I think it was only like a week later, I was on as a producer, a co-producer of the Pittsburgh Film Office's podcast, Screen Perspectives. And then as things tumbled and went along, I got hired at the Pittsburgh Film Office as their social media manager, which eventually turned into a full-time job, communications coordinator. And truly, it was networking. It was the small opportunity that I took got me to this point.
Best said. Networking, key word in this industry. And Kevin is a darling. He's amazing.
Absolutely.
Every interaction I've had with him was spectacular. But networking, that is such a big deal. And how do you network? You, of course, you have to throw yourself out of your comfort zone and meet people who want to do things meet people that you want to do things with or who are already doing the things that you want to do in the future. So I think that's a lot of, good tips for young filmmakers. Like PJ said, you just got to get out there, right? But now that you are at a certain point that is beyond networking and now that you know your inner circle, what do you do with the film office? What's your current role and how does it involve within the Pittsburgh film industry?
Okay, so get on my soapbox for a second. The Pittsburgh Film Office is an economic development agency that specializes in marketing our 10 county, almost going to be 11 county region. So this covers all of southwestern Pennsylvania. You can check out our site at pghfilm.org to see all of the counties we cover. So what we do is we, like I said, market to productions to come to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is such an amazing community from both locations to the film industry and the community we have that it's my job to use social media, use our assets, and tell people how good of a place it is. And we have all these programs that I get to market through, like I said, social media, but also we have some amazing interns that I manage where we make video content. And we're just constantly keeping people in the know, keeping people knowing how important the film industry and how much it impacts the region, especially economically.
That is correct because we'll loop back to this topic, but over the recent months, we've seen a lot of film come through Pittsburgh. Am I correct?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, a
We
tremendous
literally,
amount.
we were one of the busiest places this year in the entire country. It was insane.
And why? Why is that the place? I mean, LA in people's mind is the prime for filmmaking. That's the production hubs. So is New York and Atlanta and Toronto and London. But what does Pittsburgh have that those cities don't have? Or what do we have that is better than what those cities have?
So, to start with, the thing that my boss, the executive director, Don Keyser, likes to say is that we are such a diverse region, we can do anything except for a beach. And you can do a beach on a sound studio. Truly, our southwestern Pennsylvania is so diverse. You can go from forest to river to you name it in 20 minutes flat. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it, which I will definitely delve more into, is the PA Film Tax Credit Program. That program is what incentivizes productions to come because at the end of the day, it's an economic stance. It's this idea of they're coming to the city to save money and use our resources while also being able to use this amazing region. I will also mention, on top of that, before I get more into the film tax credit, if you'll allow me, is that we actually have 5,000 full time crew workers who are ready to go, ready to jump on productions anytime, and they are the most talented bunch I've ever met. And we would not be the same without them.
That is true. Now, no, let's talk about the tax incentive. That's really special. New Jersey has a tax incentive. New York has a film tax credit. But before we begin, for those of you who don't know what the tax credit is in the film terms, in the film business term, what is a tax incentive and why is it important when you're trying to attract large budget films here to your state?
So, a tax credit, long story short, is this idea of you get almost this credit back when you film in a certain location and you spend enough money. For example, I don't know if you've probably heard, LA/California upped their tax credit to 700, I believe, 750 million, which was a huge boost compared to what I believe they had 300 million before. PA has 100 million. Specifically, Pennsylvania offers 25% tax credit to films that spend at least 60% in the region. What does that mean? That's a lot of numbers. Let me break it down. So, at the end of the day, this is an incentive. So, when a production spends 60% of their money in this region giving back to the economy, they get a little bit back. They get a little bit back off of that. The money evens out and it keeps going. So, it boosts us, but it lets them have a break. To put it in simpler terms, if a production has $10 million, they need to spend at least 6 million in the region. And that's 6 million directly into the economy. And by that 6 million, I'm not just saying we're paying the crew, we're paying the cast. I'm saying that money isn't just stored straight into the production, it's the extra cup of coffee that the person spent on set. And it's the extra brush that they got that gets put into the economy that might not be included in that 6 million. So I do want to say, just to set the record straight, because a lot of people are going, oh, so we're just giving money away to these Hollywood productions. It's not. It's an incentive on our part. What's happening is we are investing in them, and like I said, they're giving money back to our economy. We actually have a ratio that it's an average of $1 to $218 when you invest in a production. So every $1 we're giving to them through that taxed credit, we're getting $218 back from that cup of coffee, from that extra palette that the makeup artist brought, from the extra chair that you had to buy because one broke. So that's the tax incentive. It's this idea that we're giving money to productions so that they won't go off to LA and get less money there. It's a big
That's
reason
exactly. It's a
why,
gigantic reason.
yeah,
Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to say for our region, as with Pennsylvania, it's not the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of film sets. Um, but because we have such a competitive tax credit, we are definitely up there. And the amount of crew member that are ready to work, probably off of, a much more diverse landscape than just a soundstage in LA. It's much more, unique to a lot of film. And there has been a
absolutely.
surge of independent films and something raw and organic and unique. Especially that's why A24 started up as a production company because they were producing things that weren't fearful of the status quo. Now, you've
Yes.
talked about how it benefits a community or a city or even the state as a whole with tax incentives. But as a producer, let's say I'm a producer from LA at Warner Bros. How does this tax credit help me as a producer?
It's a level of what you're doing with these tax credits because every state has a different one. Europe has its own incentives. Is as a producer, you're looking at the region and you're seeing what can you get out of it to make the best out of your production. At the end of the day, we're in the entertainment business. A lot of people forget that business word. It all comes down to money. As much as you probably hate to think about it, that's what ends up being the straw that breaks the camel's back. So when a producer looks at incentives like these and they're looking at between New Jersey and PA, if New Jersey gives them less, they're going to go for PA. That's what it comes out at the end of the day. Sorry, please, if let me know if that answered your question. I'd love to
No,
go
that's
further.
exactly what I wanted. Producers are businessmen, right? We're in the entertainment industry, entertainment business, and
Yes,
producers want to make a bang for their buck. Now, if they go to a city, especially during prep, development, and pre-production, producers decide where they want to film, not because of just the aesthetic of the location, but the tax incentive that's available. So you said it correctly. If New Jersey gives them less, they're going to come to PA,
yes,
right? Because
absolutely.
why else would they go anywhere? Where we're offering them the best deal. Why else are they going to go and get 15% back where we can get 25% back, just hypothetically speaking. And that is why I think it is so important to have a film tax credit. And now that the time that you spent within the film office, right? What changes have you seen landscape-wise with the film industry? Like, are there any notable changes compared to the first day you've walked in to now at this webinar? Have there been any overarching plot changes with the film industry?
Well, consider this. I started about a little over 2 years ago, and I started right in the middle of the strikes, the writing strike and the SAG-AFTRA actor strike. And so truly, it was really slow. It's not to steal the words out of executive director Don Keyser's mouth, but I really like the metaphor that she uses, where it's not a car. The business is not a car, the industry. You're not just gonna be able to turn it back on. It's a factory. You need to take it level by level. Now, finally, after 2 years, we're starting to see some progress, but there's a level of LA is still fighting with some of the productions leaving because they lost all the business through the pandemic, the strikes, all this stuff that happened. So that's why the incentives are so important to bring that business back. Pittsburgh has been such instrumental to that because we already have the crew, we already have the money, we're ready to go. We have the locations, they don't have to build sets if they don't have to. Um, so it's this level of I have seen the industry completely stopped and I've seen it crawl its way back. And it's really interesting because it's going to happen again. Time is cyclical. So it was really interesting to start my career in such a low point to know that it's going to get back. Everyone loves the entertainment industry. It's going to come back, and like it did this year.
Amazing. I love it. It's not a car, it's a factory. It's a work in progress, and it always will be a work in progress because the industry changes so bloody often. I
Absolutely. Oh
mean,
my God.
it's crazy how much it changes. The next day, you're talking about something that you probably never think you would hear in the news, like AI. Let's like we won't get into the meat and potatoes of AI, but that just exploded in our face, and now we have strikes and new contracts over them. Isn't
Yes.
that crazy? That's just how fast the industry changes. And now you said this is the busiest year that we've had since COVID, am I correct? And the strike. If you haven't signed any NDAs, if please don't break any non-disclosures, but do give us a list of all the productions that came through here on the top of your mind, just to or give people a frame of reference on how many productions came through here.
Absolutely. So we had, beginning of this year, Mayor of Kingstown, season 4, which is, by the way, currently airing on Paramount Plus. please go watch it. Go see some of our amazing Pittsburgh locations. So that was in town. This is not going to be in order because I'm just going to run through them. Mayor of Kingstown season 4, and then we had How to Rob a Bank, which was really fun. And then we had Hershey. Hershey was all over, used a bunch of different counties, set people back to the 1800s. And then we currently right now have, oop, did I lose? We currently right now have Parallax. And that's currently filming in the region. I will not disclose as to where, but we have some really exciting people on that project. Um, and then we also had The Pit. The Pit is a huge show, medical show right now. They filmed here for 3 days. They did exterior shots and a couple outdoor scenes. So to run through those again, Mayor of Kingstown season 4, How to Rob a Bank, Hershey, The Pit season 2, and currently filming Parallax. We also had a film that we helped West Virginia out with, which was called Young Men, a small-ish independent film that had a lot of fun working with our region and our unions.
The film industry here is big and small at the same time. And all out of all the shows you've mentioned, I think three or four of them, I know people that I've worked with who are working on those shows right now. Or have worked on. I mean, I worked on How to Rob a Bank when it started shooting, and then that's when I started meeting all these other people who are working on Young Men, Parallax, Mayor of Kingstown,
Yes.
the people who are working on tech for this webinar. One of them worked on Hershey. So it's a very tight-knit community here. The industry's big and small. In that case, I mean, I'm going to open up to the audience because I'm sure there might be some questions that people want to ask, but is there anything that you want to plug in before we go to the audience? Because I've gotten all the questions and I've discussed everything that I want with you.
Oh, great. Some things I'll mention. I mentioned it briefly. The Pittsburgh Film Office's podcast that I'm the producer of. We're currently in season 2. Our most recent episode was with Brendan Birch, who is an animator. We had some really amazing guests this season. Up next, I can say, is Mark Pellington, who's the director of the Mothman Prophecies. They filmed here in 2001, I believe. It released in 2002. Really exciting stuff and really good for young filmmakers wanting to break into the industry. All these really cool people share their path to success and something you can learn from. Some other stuff I will mention, Create PA. Create PA is the Pittsburgh Film Office's workforce development. CreatePA.org is our website. I highly recommend signing up for the e-list. We have some really cool trainings coming up that you might want to sink your teeth into. This year alone, we had costuming, we had camera loader, and we had accounting. Oh, and Shopcraft. How could I forget Shopcraft? That was a lot of fun. So we have a lot of really cool stuff coming up that please, I'd love if anyone got involved. And also our website, pghfilm.org. If you missed anything I said during this webinar, if there's anything you need, that's where our contact information is. I highly recommend checking it out.
Amazing. And all it takes is for a young filmmaker somebody who wants to be a part of the industry, all it takes is for them to search that up, right?
Yes,
Amazing. It's
it's
at the fingertips of your computer. Anyway, I got one from the audience. What resources does the film office offer that local/independent filmmakers can utilize? That's a really good question.
Yeah, like I said, Create PA is a big one, but also if you go onto our website, we actually have crew and vendor lists. So if you ever reach out to us, we can always look and see, hey, I need a set designer. Hey, I need an animal handler. That one popped up into our inbox recently, which is really cool. It's this level of we have some of the connections you might need to get your film off the ground. I will reiterate though, and I want to mention that we only support fully funded films. We won't be able to get you funding directly, but we will be able to help you find crew and potentially spread the word. Check out the crew call, the cast call on our websites. We often post job listings there as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So there's a bunch of resources. I mean, I consider Create PA a resource in itself because that without having to go on set, that's where you can learn your skill plus network, right?
We
I
also
think
have
we
an
have
amazing list of graduates on there too.
100%. And I know some and they are spectacular. We have a mutual. Her name is Delaney Gattenby. Do you remember her?
Oh, absolutely. I love Delaney.
She's a
Hi, Delaney, if you're
star.
watching this.
I hope she's watching this too because she got me my gig on How to Rob a Bank, right? And she was the
Really?
coordinator. Yeah. And she killed it. It was amazing. I loved working with her, even the long days. That's really typical in the industry, but I absolutely loved it. And where she learned to do all that was from Create PA. And that's where she met her other coordinator in the art department. He was a part of Create PA. So you meet all these amazing people that knows how this industry work. So are you ready for another question, or do you want to keep on talking about how amazing this cohort is?
I mean, I'm happy to go on, but please give me your next question.
Okay, cool. Here's another one. What kind of economic or community impact have film productions in the Pittsburgh area over the past, sorry, have had in the Pittsburgh area over the last year? I feel like that wasn't, I jumbled my words for sure.
No, you're
Basically,
good.
what impact did it have economically? I think we touched on this briefly, but you can get
Oh,
into the meat and potatoes of this one.
fantastic question because I didn't get to throw my numbers around. So, ever since the Pittsburgh Film Office started, so 1990 was when the film office first started. We, as an office, has generated $2.5 billion in new money in the region. And once again, that's the extra coffee that someone bought in the morning. That's the extra hairbrush that someone bought in the afternoon. But it's also all of the money that came from things like The Dark Knight Rises and Silence of the Lambs, Adventureland, Mindhunter, I could go on. But that's a number that I can give you. The other fact I have right here is actually Mayor of Kingstown, season 2, received 24 million in that PA tax credit we talked about, but they actually had an economic impact of 150 million dollars in the region. Insane. Insane. It's hard to even picture those numbers, but that's how much that full television show gave back to our region. And they came back for 2 more seasons.
Amazing. I remember going to the gala and hearing all these numbers, and I was just at awe. I mean, we're right up there with LA and New York, if you think about it statistically. We are doing so well, and we are doing
Yes,
phenomenally well, especially with the strike, COVID, and all the AI stuff. We are just outperforming a lot of the cities, don't you think?
I am very glad that you brought up the gala. I meant to mention that we have an annual fundraising gala called Lights, Glamour, Action. You'll find more information on pghfilm.org under the events tab. That is our annual just celebration of the region. I highly recommend anyone who's able to go to go. It's such a fun time. This year, I can't promise anything in the future, but this year for the 25th anniversary, Jeremy Renner showed up and he had a ball. He got to meet a bunch of local people, and it truly is such a fun time and a way to give back to the amazing film industry that we have here. So thank you for bringing that up. I'm
Of
glad you
course.
had fun with it.
Well, personally, I think Jeremy's like a local now. He's been here for multiple seasons, right?
Oh, it's insane.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy how localized he's became after filming even the first season. It's really cool. So I'm gonna give you a few more questions from the audience, but I have a few
Please.
of my own if you want to indulge in that because I am absolutely curious. But let's do with this one. How can students get involved with the film office? Are there any volunteering work opportunities or for student filmmakers? How do they be involved with the film office or on a bigger spectrum, the big budget films that come through the film office?
Yeah, what I will mention is the Pittsburgh Film Office does have an internship program. It's mainly towards marketing and admin because that's our whole goal. I work very closely with them. Sometimes they have video projects. Most of the time, they're really learning the ins and outs of, like we talked about before, the business side of the industry, which is the heart and soul of how everything works. So I highly recommend that. That's once again on our website. I cannot remember which tab it's under, but it's on there, and I swear to God I'll remember it at some point. But I highly recommend signing up for that. Our spring internship application window is coming up. As far as getting onto productions, that's a different beast. We can't promise anything through our internship program. But that being said, talk to your, if you're a local student, I will say, in the Pittsburgh region, talk to your professors. It's such a small industry. Networking is the way to go about it. Sign up for those casting calls. Sometimes most productions actually give us a casting call for extras. Being an extra, all of our extras in Pittsburgh, amazing people. Love them. I have personal connections with them. They all just have so much fun on set. I can't recommend it as the best way to go about into getting a PA position, but it's a way to get in. I recommend at least applying. You're going to be around the people you want to be around, and at the end of the day, you're at least going to have fun.
Exactly. Networking, networking, networking. It's the people you know in this industry. I would not have gotten the position on how to rob a bank if I wasn't working on set with Delaney, which she's a
Yes,
darling, right? And she's amazing. And that goes for everybody I know. Someone's gonna end up somewhere. And knowing how to work with them and knowing what they're good at and knowing their weakness can help you build your portfolio in terms of this is what I'm good at. This is where I'm lacking my strength. So you guys are just one big cohort that makes the film industry a little bit stronger every day, right? So
absolutely.
networking is so important. Okay, so some of my own questions, because you're such a busy gal and I never have time to talk to you. Um, of course, you're familiar with 7 to 8. We are coming up on 3 years operating, and that is still pretty new, but on the desk that I'm sitting at right now, it feels like I've been working to get this production company past the student filmmaking era into the small indie studio that we all want to see. So, as a young filmmaker and producer like me, what can I expect from the film office to support local studios? Because we've also got other local studios such as Goat Milk Fudge by PJ, of course. We have 3BT that does a lot of screening at Lindsay Theater. If we want to get a film done and it's fully funded, will the film office be able to treat us like those big budget films?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's fully funded, I have to give that addendum. Do there's a level of we have the connections that may help. I can't promise anything, but we are the glue that holds the community to these productions that come into town. So we at the end of the day have the location scouts on file that you may need help finding the perfect school for. We have the people who we may be able to connect you to get things off the ground and get them moving. Because we want to support our local filmmakers and we want to keep them thriving in the region because we know it has so much to offer. I hope that
Amazing.
answers your question. Great.
It answers it completely. Basically, what you're saying is that when we get there as a company having a fully funded feature or a fully funded TV series, you guys are there to help us excel
Yes,
in this community. Am I correct?
absolutely.
Awesome. And talking about the community, what's the best part of working in a small community that's not so overly large like LA or New York? Because Pittsburgh is not that big, right? But there are hidden treasures to that. So personally, what do you think is the best part of working in a small community like Pittsburgh in the film industry here?
Yeah, truly, I hate to hit the nail on the head over and over, but it is the networking. It's the fact that if I go to someone and I go, hey, I need a boomer operator on this set, they're going to turn around and go, hey, I have a name for you. Or they're going to turn and be like, this is the person you need. At, at the end of the day, we're all so supportive and here for each other. And there's a level of we all want to succeed and we all want to do well that that's what you find in these. We're not no longer small, but we are growing as a film industry. We find that because of we're growing together, we're all there to support each other and keep each other going.
Awesome, awesome. I think that the Pittsburgh film industry, piggyback off of what you said, is so small to the point where you know everybody to a certain extent, but also so big to be diverse in the labor, the skill set, and just the again diversity of the films coming in here through Pittsburgh. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And because we're here at 7 8 are the younger filmmakers. I wouldn't have known about the film office or the gala or all these amazing things without Pittsburgh, which is one of your events that you host twice a year. Can you tell us what Pittsburgh is? And for the college students that are watching right now
Oh,
or
yeah.
coming back to visit, why should you go to Pittsburgh? And why should you just practice pitching in general?
Yeah, absolutely. So Pittsburgh is also known as Ready Set Pitch is we actually do it annually is our annual event where we have all of the colleges come together and have their students pitch their films in hopes that they all collaborate together. It's run through an organization called PFAME, and I'm gonna mess up the full spelling of it. I believe it's Pittsburgh Film Alliance of Media Educators along those lines. And it covers, I want to say, about 9 or 10 colleges in the region that have all these amazing film programs. And so all these people get to come together and, like we've been talking about this whole time, it's networking. Pittsburgh gives you the opportunity to network in a low stakes environment. And it gives you the opportunity to connect with these other students, and you're all going to grow into the industry together. They're going to be the people that you turn to when you've made it and you're going to go get on my film. Or they're going to turn to you and they're going to say, hey, here's an opportunity. That's what Pittsburgh is for. That is what it's about. When it comes to pitching, practice pitching. Pitching is the most important thing in the industry if you want to just get a film off the ground. It needs to be succinct, it needs to get the point across, and no one's ever going to want to listen to a 10-minute pitch. That's what this practice is about. So you get your feedback and you get those people who support you while also getting you to the point that you can stand in front of that executive producer at Warner Brothers and give the speech of your life. So that's our understanding of Ready Set Pitch.
That's so good to practice that because a lot of people only see the creative vision behind their films when they start out, me included. I never thought there was so much business and economical and financial and all these investment talks that goes into film. And the only way you can get someone interested fiscally is by one, knowing your story from cover to cover, knowing it like it's your child, and two, having the courage to go up there and pitch. And that's exactly what Ready Set Pitch allows you to do, right? Conveniently, we're speaking during one of the biggest markets in the world besides the Marché de Cannes, which is the American film market. And it's happening right now as we speak. And all those people who are going to those markets, they have to practice their pitch over and over and over until they know it like their first and last name. And so doing this in front of a crowd like Ready, Set, Pitch, for those of the college students watching here or referencing this back, go to it. Even if you're just gonna like sit there and listen to the pitch, see how your cohort and the age group of yourself pitches their project. And it's amazing how many people you've met. One of the senior directors, two of them actually that work with me on 7 to 8, I've met at Pittsburgh. So you form this amazing relationship of the people that it's just the people that you share common themes with, and that's just to make brilliant films. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Have you met any cool
Truly.
people from Pittsburgh?
Oh, plenty. I mean, every single time I go, it's there's always a new person that I meet, someone who pitches, who puts themselves on the line and they put themselves out there. That's the bravest thing you can do, especially when you're in school. And it's this level of, I highly recommend any students out there, but anyone even just aspiring filmmakers, talk to your professors, talk to your connections, sign up for our e-list on pghfilm.org, follow our social medias, get those opportunities and go to them. That's all you need to do. Keep putting your foot in the door, and at some point the door will open.
Oh my God. I need to hang that in my room. Put your
Oh
foot in the
God.
door, and at one point, the door will open. Honestly, that's the quote I was searching for the longest time. Because I'm not gonna lie. There have been days when I'm like, gosh, this whole film stuff is really getting to me. Why am I? But like, it's fun once you get to see how many people love the things that you do, even it's the business side. And
Yes.
okay, so do you have anything to plug in? I know I've been feeding you a lot of questions, but if you have anything to say, feel free to just pop right in.
Well, I think we're covering a really good amount. Truly, check out the Film Office website. You're welcome to. We have really cool jackets on there if anyone wants to buy them. I know 7 to 8 has a bunch of really cool jackets too. It's that kind of season. So, highly recommend supporting your local film industry through that, through merchandise, through support. But at the end of the day, it's all about the connections. It's about the fact that you're even watching this webinar now is such an important step to getting and being part of the film industry and being involved with all of us. And we'd love to have you because at the end of the day, we're a community that wants to keep growing and make all these really cool films.
Amazing. Okay, so we've covered a grand old things about the PA as a film industry in general, the tax credit in which you can find more information on the website, why PA is a prime location to be shooting here and what makes PA unique. And I think this is exactly what I wanted to get out of this. It's so fruitful, so valuable to be talking to you, Jenny. Um, Please share your contact if people who are watching or people who are referencing to this want to contact you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, so the best way to contact the Pittsburgh Film Office is going to be info at pghfilm.org. Once again, that's info at pghfilm.org. Our phone number is also online at pghfilm.org. Once again, I'll also plug createpa.org. That is going to be the place where we find our workforce development program and all the amazing stuff we're doing there. And please, if you hit info, reach out to me, Jenni Booker, Booker, and I'm happy to answer your question because your email will get forwarded to me and I'll be there to reach out to you. I'd love to help our community and give back to what has already done so much for me.
Awesome. Jot that down, guys. She's brilliant. Jen is amazing. She won't be on here if she wasn't brilliant.
Love you too,
So
Adam.
I love you so much. We actually met on set,
We
only to
did, yeah.
hash even more about networking. If we
Oh
haven't
my
said that
God.
already. But is it
Hey,
important? Is it important? Is
hey,
networking
have you heard of
important?
this thing called networking? It might be a little bit important. Weird.
Maybe. That's funny. Well, I'm so pleased with what you had to say. And if people want to access how to attend the gala at the beginning of the year, they can do that on the website as well. Am I correct?
Yes, that. And if you have any questions, once again, that's that info at pghfilm.org. Feel free to reach out, let us know if you want to be involved, if you just need information about the gala. We currently have sponsorships running, but there's no expectation on that front. That's just what is currently going on. In January, we'll start ticket sales and we'll start really pushing. We're going to have a lot of really cool stuff at our silent auction as well. So that's another boost to potentially attend. But otherwise, please, we just love the film industry so much. The best thing you can do for the film industry is support it. The best thing you can do as a resident of Pittsburgh is to say, oh, that's filming down the street. I'm going to respect it. I'm going to give it its space, and I appreciate that they're doing so much for us, whether through economic impact or just showing off our beautiful city.
Yes, 100%. Go to the gala, guys. It's amazing, y'all. I went last year and I had a wonderful time. I will be planning to join this year as well because that's where you see the beautiful faces, including amazing actors that really put PA on the map if it wasn't on the map before, and people behind the scenes, which is why I'm there because they are just so marvelous. Alrighty. Well, again, thank you for being a part of the second webinar. This is amazing. I hope to get you back here sometime in the future because you are just a treasure of information, especially with the PA Tax Film Incentive and the Pittsburgh Film Office. And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining into our webinar. Please, please, please go check out the merch on both of the websites. They're pretty cozy. Stay in tune for all the new films through Film Pittsburgh, or not Film Pittsburgh, apologies, Film Office and through 7 to 8. And just keep in touch. Always contact us through the website if you want to reach out. And yeah, don't hesitate to contact Jenny or the Film Office if you have any further questions. Thank you so much.